YouTube, how you guys doing? Okay, so this video is gonna be a little different. I'm doing microbiology, as I said in my last video. So I wanted to do a video on that because when I started microbiology, well, before I started, I really wanted to like prepare because I never took the class, so I didn't know what to expect. Like I went on YouTube and I was like trying to find videos on how to do good in the lab, because I remember in chemistry it was like really hard in lab, and I wish that I would have been more prepared for that. But that's basically what this video is going to be on, is lab and how to do good in lab. And then I have like one or two more videos on the unknown maybe that I'll do. I think we have two unknowns, and then there's gonna be like a lab practical. So I did one unknown that went well, so I could go back in my lab book and maybe get something together for that for you guys, because it's probably all the same. Like you have the gram negative, gram positive, and then there's only certain organisms that you're gonna be using in the lab, so it's gonna be one of them. Okay, so let's start talking about lab and how to prepare for it. Like, don't go in the lab cold. Don't go in there like, oh, I just do what they say. Like, you can do that and you'll be okay, but you won't really know what you're doing while you're doing it. And then you'll be putting the pieces together like as you go, kind of. It's hard to explain, but well, to me it makes sense. Anyway, so like look over your lab and see what tests you're gonna be running, and then like visualize yourself doing those tests. And then if you can't, like if you don't get it, like what am I gonna be doing? Like look it up on YouTube, and then so that when you get to class you're gonna be like, oh yeah, I kind of know what I'm doing already. And then the teacher will just make it go extra smooth, but you already got it smooth up here, so it's gonna be fine. And then you can get the most out of lab and learn the most. My teacher gives us PowerPoints before each lab, so you know, look that over, because it's coming from the teacher. Like it's stuff she wants you to know or he wants you to know before lab. Like anything your teacher is telling you is gonna be good for you to prepare for a test, okay? So definitely any materials they give you or they want you to focus on it, because it's not for nothing. Some teachers are no help. They're just like, here's your lab book, that's it. Like my A&P teacher was like that. Like she didn't give no study guide. She didn't say nothing like about the test. It was just like, she made the test kind of easy, which hurt us in the final, because the final was like a blow. Like, whoa, like what? We all scored low in the final, but what can you do? Can't do nothing about your teacher, but if they are giving you pointers and they are giving you materials or practice tests, you better do it. So in lab, you're gonna have, you're gonna be using the petri dishes all the time. So, right, you have to label your dishes. Don't label the lid. Only label the agar side, so the underside of the petri dish, and then there's a way to store them. Like your teacher will probably like once you like put the organism on the agar, you're gonna store them in a baggie, like if you have 2 or 3, and then the baggie will be labeled with your name and whatever as well. So you have to put them in the baggie a certain way. So ask your teacher and make sure you're putting them in the baggie right. Also, I don't know if your teacher's going to be checking, but don't close the baggie, because the petri dishes need the air, I think. And if you close the baggie, something might go wrong with your growth, and then the next day in the lab is gonna be all jacked up. What else? And then the other thing, if you label the lid, you could put the lid on the wrong thing, on the wrong dish, so don't do that. And then these are like common mistakes and mistakes I made. So the first time I was using a liquid broth, I took the cap off, and then I did something with the hand with the liquid broth. Just focus, and like once you have that liquid broth in your hand, do not do anything with that liquid broth. And then you're taking the cap off with your pinky on this hand, okay? Like, and then once you have that broth, I'm saying that again, do not do nothing with this hand, and make sure that you're very conscious about when you have your inoculating loop, what your inoculating loop is touching. When you take it out the baggie, do not let the inoculating loop touch the baggie coming out. Don't let the inoculating loop touch anything. Don't have it exposed to air too long, because you could get contamination. Everything is aseptic. So pay very close attention. Like, you'll have your inoculating loop, you'll take the top off, and it just comes off. You don't have to unscrew it. And focus on your hands. Don't do nothing else, all right? And then take it, and then when you take the loop out the broth, don't let it touch the top of the where the lid is, where the lid goes, like coming out the vial, because then you're gonna have a contaminated petri dish, and you're gonna have all this extra bacteria that is gonna possibly mess you up and affect your grade. What else? And then when you're throwing away the petri dish, because at one point you're not gonna need them, so don't throw them out any kind of way. Like, have the lid on and then throw them out. Because if you just throw them out and then the lid pops off, it's gonna have the room stinking, and then that's a good way to get on all the staff's nerves, because your teacher is gonna have to deal with that. The person who's the assistant to the teacher, like doing all the incubating and stuff, they're gonna be irritated because you got the whole room stinking, because you have 24 people just throwing away petri dishes any kind of way, stinking up the whole room. Okay, another common mistake. Don't smell the dish. Like, somebody was doing that and the teacher was like, please don't do that, because you could inhale a microorganism. It's just not good practice. Just like, don't touch any bacteria and then touch another surface. Like, you want to stay separate from these bacteria, because most of them are pathogenic. Also, do not, like, okay, where's my...
Course adjustment, fine adjustment, and base. We will discuss this.
What? There. Sorry, my remote was not working. Okay, so these are the ocular lenses. These are 10x. These are, what are they called? Objective lenses, yes. So each objective lens is labeled with a strength of the lens. So this times this will give you your total magnification. So if this is 10 and this is 10, that's 1,000. So you do 10 times whatever. This is always 10. Okay, so then when you first put your, it'll be a little glass slide, you'll put it on here. And then you can move, this is called the stage, you can move this around with these right here. So I didn't realize that like, and then I had to like raise my hand and ask the teacher, like, I can't find the bacteria, like I can't get it under the what the heck? This,
We will discuss this one by one.
okay, so that'll get your slide positioned on the microscope underneath the objective lens, okay? Because you need it at the right spot where there's plenty of bacteria. So anyway, you'll focus the bacteria initially on the 10x. So let's say this is the 10x. Then you'll use the coarse knob pretty much the whole time that you're on the 10x. Can y'all hear my kid's teacher? She is so loud. Okay. So distracting. Anyway. Okay, so yeah. So the 10x, yeah, you're on the 10x and then you're gonna use this knob. Once you get it focused and you can see bacteria, then use the fine knob. Then you're gonna use the fine knob right here. Okay? And then that will just put the fine touches. Then you're gonna go to 100. And then you have your light down. There's this controls light. And then if you're on 10, you put it on 10. I think it's called the diaphragm. So you put the diaphragm on 10, that on 10. Then you flip it so there's no lenses over top your slide, and then you put oil on the slide. Okay? And then you put it on 100. Once you get to 100, here's my point. Once you get to 100, right here, say this is 100, and you put it, and then you need the oil. Your teacher will explain that. That has to do with the refractive index. So, once you get it on 100, do not touch this knob.
It is located at the...
If you touch the big knob, because there's two knobs on one. It's a small, coarse, and fine. Coarse and fine. So once you get to 100x, you got your oil, you put the 100x on, and then you put the diaphragm to 100. Once you get to 100, you cannot touch this knob. Because then if you touch the coarse knob, there's nothing you can do. You have to go back to 10x, find your bacteria again, focus in on it, go put this back to 10. Then after you get it all focused on 10, you gotta go back to 100 objective lens and then find it again. Okay, because on the 10 it'll be smaller, the bacteria will be smaller, and then on 100 you'll be able to see like way more. Like on 10 you can basically see if it's like gram positive and all that. Okay. So that is basically it. So prepare and just pay attention to where you're writing on the agar and where on the petri dish and how to put it away. Don't close your Ziploc baggie because that might mess it up. And once you get to 100, do not touch the coarse knob. That's it. I hope this helped. Let me know. Bye guys.